Hello, everybody. Adam Parks here with another episode of Receivables Roundtable. Today, I'm here with my good friend and colleague, Katalina Dawson, who has recently joined us over at the Branding Arc team. How you doing today, Katalina?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Adam. Super
So,
excited to be on this.
absolutely. Well, we're really excited to have you here today. And for those of you that have not been as lucky as I have, Katalina, could you tell everybody a little bit about yourself and how you got to the seat that you're in today?
So it's a really roundabout way. I never even thought about the receivables management industry growing up. I don't think anybody really grows up and goes, I know what I want to be when I grow up, receivables management industry. So
Fair.
I grew up in Chicago and I ended up going to DePaul University. I loved my school. I got a bachelor's in English, and that was a focus in creative writing. So that really helped when I started to do some marketing things. I started doing a lot of copywriting. But while I was in school, I actually did professional acting and modeling for several years. And that has carried on through to today. I still do it, but on the side. It is very hard to break into both of those professions. So it's something I kind of do more as a hobby now. But I've still done performance throughout the years while I was doing different marketing jobs. So through marketing, I started finding out I had a passion for events, and I started working events. And that actually came through an acting job because I used to be one of those rent-a-princesses. So like when somebody wants Elsa or Cinderella for a party, that was me coming in the big hoop skirt with the wig and like singing and dancing to kids. And from that, my first amazing manager and boss at that job, she owned the business herself. She started teaching me how to run those events, how to book those
Mhm.
events, and those sorts of things. And from there, it escalated. I started working events in different, just all different industries as I went on. It
Mhm.
was just marketing with a focus in events and copywriting. And then I
Mhm.
moved all over the place. I went from Chicago to Nashville to Vegas to Boise to Phoenix, and I'm hopefully heading back to Chicago shortly. I'm planning to move back. And during those times, I did a number of different marketing jobs. And in Vegas, I took a kind of another left turn and I became a professional magician for a while, kind of
Okay.
accidentally as well, which is interesting. Loved that job, loved being in performance, but it just kept coming back to copywriting and events and marketing. And about a year and a half ago, I think it was the end of January in 2022, I got headhunted by Prodigal and ended up in the receivables management industry. I joined their marketing team, which was led by Smeet at the time, great guy. It's now led by the amazing Jennifer Durishan. And I just enjoyed so much being a part of that team. I really got to hone my abilities as an event manager
Mhm.
because, in comparison to any other jobs that I did in the past in event management, it was really event heavy. And that
Mhm.
really introduced me to this whole industry. I got to go to events, I got to be a part of this community. And as that evolved, I also started being the community manager at Prodigal,
Mhm.
which was really exciting because I love people and I loved the events and getting to know everybody and putting on these big things. And so I've been in the industry just under about 2 years now and joined Branding Arc about 4 months ago.
Well, and it's been a lot of fun having you join our team from an event standpoint. I know that's kind of how we connected to begin with, right? And got to know each other
Mhm.
through the live conferences and events and being able to put those together. And then all the things that we're doing at Branding Arc, I think ties together quite nicely. But now you're with the Branding Arc team and you've only been with us a couple of months. So let me throw the tough question at you. What is
Yes.
it that you do over at Branding Arc, and what does that organization do?
So Branding Arc is an incredible marketing company and they focus specifically on the receivables management industry, which is what makes it so powerful because having been in other marketing agencies, it is so difficult to jump from industry to industry to cater to all the different industries' needs. And when you especially get to an industry like receivables management, it's a litigious industry. It's a very complex industry. So to have somebody who doesn't understand that try to write copy for it or build websites for it is very complicated. So that's, I
Mm.
think, what is so cool about Branding Arc. It's very unique in that aspect. And I came on a lot to do events, to work with the community, and I love all of that. And I've also gotten to kind of stretch my legs a little bit, do a lot more creative aspect of things. I oversee some of the creative deliverables. And recently we've been working on redesigning a lot of our brand, which has been super exciting. And as we move forward, we're going to continue to work on making these events bigger, better, unique, looking at them in different ways, which is so exciting. I love it. It's basically like taking what would be a company's dinner budget and bringing a couple of different companies together and putting on something even bigger, more memorable, more exciting.
Turn it into a party. I
Yeah.
like that approach. And as you talk about the community, I think that's really where I wanted to focus our discussion on today is talking about that community. And so as you joined our team, one of the things that we started working on was the Career Path podcast. And so we've
Yes.
watched all of this content being created
Mm-hmm.
around the industry and a lot of people trying to get their podcasts started and all of that fun stuff. And I think that you've taken a very unique and creative angle. Talk
Thank
to us a
you.
little bit about, what is your inspiration behind putting together a series like Career Path?
A couple of different things. So, one point is that a lot of these podcasts are industry veterans, which is fantastic. They have a ton of experience. They're able to speak about things and teach you on such a high level.
Mhm.
But as somebody who's new to the industry, like myself, it can be difficult to sometimes even understand those moments and understand what's going on. I've watched webinars or
Sure.
podcasts where people are talking over my head. So this is taking it and flipping it. It's
Mm.
somebody who is brand new to the industry, seeking the mentorship and expertise of people and having this ground up approach where people who are also new to the industry can kind of follow along with me and learn with me. And this also offers a lot of different perspectives rather than it just being one person who is an expert discussing all of their thoughts. It's going to be tons of different experts, people who have specialties in different areas that I get to talk to and learn so much from. So I'm really excited about it.
I think it's a really interesting approach to the way that you're kind of coming at the let's take it the bottom up approach versus the
Mm-hmm.
top down approach, because like I've been doing Receivables Roundtable now for about 3 years, and I feel like this series has its place in the marketplace, right, with what I'm communicating to, because my objective in communicating here is just to really communicate to other executives and to help others understand really the breadth of different areas of our industry and to help showcase individuals as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I've got kind of that purpose, but I've been around for almost 20 years. So I probably am talking over a lot of people's heads when I start digging into liquidation curves and AI versus machine learning and some of these other topics. But I like the approach that you're taking where you're taking more of this like, hey, instead of somebody like me just giving you advice, you have the opportunity to kind of ask for advice based
Mm-hmm.
on the experiences that you're having now. And so
Yes.
to me, that's a really interesting place, because there's a lot more people in our industry that are in your position than are in my position, right?
Mm.
Because people at my position tend to retire or whatever may be the case, but there's more younger people that are coming into the space and finding ways to communicate to them in a
Mm-hmm.
format and a method in which they find comfortable is important. And I love the short form content, right?
Yes.
Webinars are great for an hour, but like it's kind of a lot to consume. And for an
Mm-hmm.
industry that has an average attention span of 30 seconds, I find this more condensed format to be a little bit more appropriate. So let's
Absolutely.
so I know we're this is right before the beginning of the year here,
Yes.
and so you're rolling out the first episode here in like a week. So this is
Yes.
extra exciting. Let's talk a little bit about what's coming.
So, our first episode is actually called Entering Oz, and it's exploring how the receivables industry can feel like entering a whole new world. Kind of what I was saying before. I kind of fell
Sure.
into this industry, and I feel like that is the trajectory for a lot of people.
Hmm.
You didn't grow up thinking you were going to be part of it, and now you're part of it. And my first guest is actually Becca Lubke, who used to be a band instructor. So same thing with her. I used to be a magician and a princess, and now I'm in receivables. She used to be a band instructor. Now she's in receivables. So we discuss how we navigated that, the
Mm,
experiences of that. And from there, some of the other topics that we're going to be discussing are very career based. Just
mm.
things like the power of negotiation, things that almost any industry could use. And then there will be others that are very industry focused. So, like learning
Mm.
about certain aspects of receivables and how to navigate those as somebody who is new.
Well, I think it's a very unique industry and it's a very relationship driven industry. So,
Oh,
providing some
yes.
insights into how to manage that and what it is like to actually be at these conferences and, in talking with women across the space, I feel like the experience has changed
Mm-hmm.
somewhat significantly from, when I started in like 2006 to what the experience is today. And so I think it'll be very interesting to kind of see that to the forefront. I also find the topic and approach to be valuable not just to the women in the industry but to men as well, in providing some insights into maybe what those around us are experiencing at various levels
Absolutely.
of our organization, right?
Yeah.
Because you're on the leadership team, and so you're part of some of the higher level strategic discussions and all of
Mm-hmm.
that, but the people that you're talking to are at all levels of the organization, and I think that's where it's going to become unique. We had we had an internal team member years ago make a statement. They'd already been in the industry for a couple of years in a lower level position at a different organization, and they kind of pointed out to me that like there's no content for the, we'll call it, least
Mm.
sophisticated employee, right? we
Yes.
we are always talking about the least sophisticated consumer and how we're going to communicate to that person, but where can you go to learn about your own industry? And we started the Receivables 101 series on
Mm-hmm.
receivables info to try and create some of that content around it. I do try to cover a lot of that type of material in receivables, in various receivables roundtable episodes and things, but it's it's a little bit of a challenge to go out there and find good content for the industry, about the industry, and I think this is going to become another one of those areas in which we can try and provide some insight to those that are actually participating, and not just those that are living it, but those who are around those that are living it, so that we
Mm-hmm.
can better understand the other perspectives in the room.
Absolutely. I love the way you worded that. Absolutely.
I look at it very much the same way that we've always looked at DEI, right? Like we have
Yes.
if we talk
Mm-hmm.
about branding arc, we have an extremely diverse organization. And although not everybody may be comfortable coming to me to have those discussions, and we've got offices in India and other places, but someone may not be comfortable coming to me, and that's okay,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, because we set up a structure around our organization to make those discussions capable, and we make sure that we can push those kinds of DEI discussions up the chain and make sure that they're addressed appropriately at the highest levels of our organizations. And I think this is a similar type tool, although it's not a DEI focused tool in that format, but I think it is trying to provide additional insights and information to new segments of the industry and marketplace. That to me is very exciting, because I think everybody deserves to understand more and to be prouder of the organizations that they're in the industry that we ultimately serve. Um,
Absolutely.
I,
Yeah,
I'll,
this
I'll I'll give
is,
you a
oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I'll give you a very brief story. Like
Mm-hmm.
I was at a collections conference, and I won't throw them out by name. And I was talking with a gentleman, or I was talking with a group of gentlemen. It was kind of late night, and we were talking about what it is that they do. And they were like avoiding the statement of that they were a debt collector. And finally, I was like, guys, you've
Mm.
now given me every buzzword in the world, but you have yet to tell
Yeah.
me like what it is that you do. And I said, I was like, so just tell me that you're a debt collector. And they're like, well, yeah, we're debt collectors, but blah, blah, blah. And I say, you're at a collections conference. If you're not going to be proud of who you are here, where are you going to be proud of who you are?
Yeah.
We provide an incredibly valuable function to a credit-based economy. It's a necessary portion of that ecosystem.
Extremely
And I
necessary. The
think
system would crumble without it completely.
but that's exactly
100%.
it, right? So helping people to understand where we fit and how they fit within the world or the construct that is the industry
Mm-hmm.
itself, I think is a noble target.
Absolutely. And providing that support and support within the community. And that's a huge portion of what we want to do with Career Path is provide that support, mentorship, and just uplifting, helping
Mhm.
people build their career, be proud of your career, and move to the next level.
Well, it sounds like you've got some really interesting thing cooking here. I cannot wait to watch these first couple of episodes. I know you're going to be doing monthly releases to kick it
Yes.
off, so I will definitely be watching for those to roll out here.
Thank you.
Any final words of encouragement or thoughts that you might want to share with your future audience?
I would just say I am super excited to hear from all of you. And if you have any topics that you would like to see covered, please do not hesitate to comment, reach out to me, say hi to me at any conferences you see me at. I would love to connect and learn more from you as well.
I think that's a great message. I think Kat will be at the RMAI conference here in February. I highly suggest stop and have a chat with her for a minute. One, learn about branding arc, but two, talk to her a little bit about career path after you've seen that first episode, because I think it's going to be a very exciting time. So, for those of you that are watching, if you have additional questions you'd like to ask Katalina or myself, you can leave those in the comments on LinkedIn and YouTube, and we'll be responding to those as quickly as we can. If you have additional topics you'd like to see us discuss, you can leave those in the comments below as well. And hopefully I can get Katalina to come back at least one more time to help me continue to create great content for a great industry. But until next time, Katalina, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate your insights today. This was fun.
Thank you. And thank you so much for having me. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. And for those of you that are watching, thank you so much for your time and attention today. We'll see you out at the RMAI conference, and we'll talk to you all again soon. Thanks so much, everyone.